These clowns ruined car culture. Slammedenuff Gatlinburg was a mess. Bro, even Yahoo is saying it's the death of car culture. That's how cooked we are, that even washed news reporters are realizing it's getting this exhausting to regularly see all these car events constantly getting ruined by a bunch of low IQ influencers. Sorry that I'm a bit late to this topic. I've been on jury duty since the start of this month. I got assigned to a surprisingly intense case. Obviously can't say the details, but apologies for the lack of uploads. That's why. Anyways, I used to go to this event from 2019 to 2021. I would have never imagined how drastically the car community was going to change since then. I was about to move to Tennessee too. I might still move there. This doesn't change anything, but it does break my heart to see a state that is otherwise really tame and has decent car culture, very clean, well-respectable individuals, get invaded by a ton of clout chasers, takeover clowns, and other just low IQ behavior. The worst part is that once these people leave, the locals are the ones who are stuck with footing over the bill for all the damages that just happened. Understandably, the city's police department now disapproves of the car meet going forward, which obviously is a just de facto L for the car community as a whole when we can't have these events. Where have I seen this pattern before? Atlanta. This is completely out of the show host's control since this wasn't even the official meet. This was just a nighttime gathering at a place called Jimmy's, which is a 24-hour business that was pretty lenient on expecting these attendants. Unfortunately though, people couldn't follow that one simple rule, and this innocent business is now the victim of all this clown behavior.
You can see the video right there on your screen. Dozens of people showed up to that business after the Slammedenuff car show.
1,400 calls were made to local police departments. 38 crashes were reported. 482 citations were issued. 40 arrests.
This was a car meet, by the way. All these cops that are showing up for, again, it's not even the actual car show, much less a riot, not a sports event, not a concert, and definitely not a political revolution. This is a freaking car meet. At the rate we're going, Trump might have to use the National Guard for car meets these days, because this is insane waste of police resources just because a few people couldn't behave. It sucks. Part of the reason I used to like car culture so much was the fact that we used to be really, really underground. We didn't end up on the news for something stupid or petty like this. Like, I used to laugh at sports teams for starting riots for losing a game about throwing or kicking balls over a field, because if you really zoom out and think about that concept, that is just complete I peaked in high school behavior. That is what normies do, right? That's what people who have no personality do. I used to like that car community as a whole. We weren't those people. We were the people who used to not be part of those groups, got disenfranchised with, you know, the overall typical behavior and the boring personality soulless crap, and we just were like, hey, we just like cars. It's tragic to see these clowns and their new trends only dig us further into our grave as we just speedrun car community annihilating itself 100% any percent run. Like, Gatlinburg is only a small part of the bigger issue. This isn't our first or last time that BS like this has happened or will continue to happen. In Atlanta, for example, the night scene is basically dead. I mean, ThatDudeinBlue has a video that he made about a year ago that summarizes this topic, and from my perspective, like, imagine moving to a big city, right, for the car scene, having all these high hopes and actually getting to enjoy it for a couple of years and having a ton of fun, and then just like that, like a snap of a finger, it's all gone because social media just turned it into complete garbage. Like, I'm not even joking when I say like 2017 to 2019 was like the last remnants of like really, really cool car community. I don't know how it was in other cities, but in Atlanta it was still really, really well behaved. Then suddenly from 2020 to 2021 especially, whoa, like we just lost everything, especially like in Gwinnett County. Whether it's cutting up traffic, swimming through freeways, or the typical intersection takeover, it is no secret that the reason car laws, regulations, and restrictions have gotten so much stricter recently, especially past 2020, that's not a coincidence. It's in direct response to car culture as a whole. And I know there's always going to be someone who's going to try to say, we don't claim those people, they aren't real car guys. And look, I agree with that sentiment, but try explaining that to lawmakers, news reporters, and other influencers who are not part of the car community. They're just going to see loud cars of people who like cars go boom, and now the lawmakers target us, and as a whole, we catch the biggest stray of the decade. It's time that we brought back gatekeeping.
Get out of here. This place is too tough for you, little man. Listen, kid, I think you'd be more comfortable over at that place.
Weenie Hut Juniors!
Not too long ago, the car scene was still pretty underground. I only got to experience the tiniest bit of the tail end, like I said, from 2016 to 2019-ish. Social media definitely changed car culture around 2010 to 2012. And I will admit that even by 2017, it was already starting to crack. You know, there were already cracks showing along the edges with all the supercar flex culture, and it became more about bought instead of built. And that was really the earliest signs of it just all going down from there, because social media culture latched on to flex culture, clout culture, and it just spiraled into being about attention and status. A lot of people say that they miss the pre-2020 era of car culture. Like, man, I miss when car culture was more underground, bro. When you had to know somebody, you know, you had to know someone who knows someone to get into a meet. But then these same people also say, yeah, we gotta stop gatekeeping, guys. It's so toxic. Brother, underground, by definition, is gatekeeping. I'm tired of people pretending like it isn't. And it's a good thing, by the way. If you have to know someone to get into a meet, hell yeah, I love that. Why are we so scared of this word? Why are we treating it like the boogeyman? I can rebrand it. I'm pro gatekeeping, always have been. Miss me with this gentle parenting generation, bro. People pseudo-canceled me on Twitter and crucified me on Reddit over my gatekeeping stance in 2019. And admittedly, I was a dumb 19-year-old back then when I made that take. But many years later, I think I predicted the future, because now we got tons of people wishing for gatekeeping to be back.
We have to hold these bad actors accountable. We have to self-police. That's the only way we're gonna be able to fix this. The government, the police, the anti-takeover task force, all that stuff is not gonna work. We as car enthusiasts have to take the lead and take the charge to fix this problem.
So I guess I was right all along, and I don't want to be smug about that. I hate that I'm right, because the cost of being right means that I'm now watching our community die. I wish I was wrong. I wish that all these newcomers who ended up joining the community behaved just fine and we could all frolic happily together, la-di-da. Too bad, they were toxic. Turns out when the only barrier/requirement needed to be considered a car enthusiast is to just vaguely like cars, then you get these clowns like this who claim to be car guys, because again, there's no more gatekeeping, anyone can be a car guy, but then they misbehave, post it on social media, make all these sad boy posts, edgy posts, and you know, F the police style crap, and then social media, news outlets, mainstream media, and all these lawmakers see these new generation car guys do this behavior, and our entire community gets punished as a result. We cooked ourselves with such a ridiculously vague and low barrier of entry. Can you really blame mainstream media and lawmakers for attaching these clowns to us when we were the ones who let them in the first place? We can't do the whole, yeah, we don't claim them, guys. We don't claim them. They're not our part of us. What did we just do? All right, let me run this down for people who are still understanding it. What does it mean to be a car guy? What's the requirement? What's the definition? Oh, they have to like cars. Let's not pretend that the people at Gatlinburg didn't like cars. And don't try they don't actually like cars. They just like it for attention. No. We never specified how much knowledge they needed for cars, how much they had to like cars, whether they had to know a guy to even get into these meets. Look me in the eye. These clowns still like cars, because that's all it takes. And without gatekeeping, then that's what the rest of the world is going to define our community by. Because if that's how we define our own community, that's how they're going to define it. We've fallen so hard from the glory days. Take a look at the old street racing legends. Midnight Club used to meticulously gatekeep their group. That's why they are still remembered to this day. They have an entire game series named after their group. That's how legendary they are. The mystique of the silent few is always more memorable than a loud majority. The underground car scene is what made Need for Speed cool. It's what made Fast and Furious cool. It's what made early YouTube street racing cool. Be it super speeders, 1320 video, you know better than I that if someone wants to do a loud, obnoxious hobby, brother, here's the I peaked in high school starter package. Go pick one of those hobbies. Please stop joining the car community and bringing that slot behavior here. By definition, we have to operate underground because the entire existence of car enthusiasm has always skirted along the fine line between legality and lethality. We knew that what we're doing, especially with street racing, is dangerous. But the difference is we were honorable. We never put an innocent bystander's lives in danger. We didn't speed through school zones like Marquise Brownlee. We don't freaking do this swimming and cutting crap through traffic and busy streets during rush hour. Street racing used to have a code and it used to mean something. Don't tell anyone. Meet up in the darkness and storm the night. empty midnight streets. If we crash, that's on us. None of this cutting up and swimming bullcrap. If we die, only we die. No one else comes down with us. Our own decisions to speed and adrenaline chase was our responsibility. Is it still legal? Sure. Look, I get it. Cars are fast and we like to go fast. I'm not your mom and especially not some Karen who's gonna tell you not to speed, but don't be out here playing with innocent lives. This swimming and cutting up is just low IQ behavior.
Y'all swimmers are in the same book as the takeover crowd. The same book.
I'm going to take this a step further and say that swimming and cutting up in traffic is actually way more dangerous than takeovers. I was an auto adjuster for many years, so I have seen firsthand the damage a high-speed accident can do to a human body. We're talking about people's bodies basically exploding.
Whenever we ask these clowns to stop, they just say, it's not our fault traffic drives like NPCs. Brother, they have a job. They are tired from their job, especially if it's the night shift. I'm tired of them just spamming womp womp whenever we try to tell them to behave, because one day their main character syndrome is gonna run out sooner than later, and I suggest that we start writing womp womp on their gravestones instead. I'm not gonna be a little wussy and pretend that cars to some extent haven't been skirting along the lines of legality, like I said, but we kept it classy. We tried to make these rules. We didn't try, we honored those rules for decades. All the way back when people used to soup up cars and run from the police during Prohibition, to Midnight Club in Japan, to even early internet culture with super speeders and with 1320 video. Social media didn't quite ruin car enthusiasm, much less street racing just yet. And it sucks because news outlets call these stupid takeovers street racing. And I know people are like, Bladed, that's not real street racing. It's impossible to explain that to these news outlets. That's not what they see. Same thing with like non-car content creators. You know, and this isn't me being offensive to them, by the way. This is me just like using it as an example because again, the internet doesn't revolve around us. People like this are also going to refer to it as street racing and then call car culture clowns because I don't blame them. It's not their fault. I don't think it's brutal anymore to tell these people just pick a different hobby. If someone's sole purpose of joining car tuning is just to post about it on social media and has no interest in actually learning about car engines, car models, or working on their cars, brother, go watch football. Riot with them on the streets instead. Go to the club. Go drink alcohol. Go waste your life away doing something else. Don't join our community. I'm tired of playing the nice guy. I said it in 2021 in an unlisted video about anime car guys. I'm gonna say it out loud here. Drew Peacock was right all along. Some people just don't belong in the car community. It's open season, brother, and we need to hunt these MFs out of our scene. I want that underground vibe, that culture, and that respect again. Even if we never win back the respect from mainstream media, if we win back the respect from ourselves, from our own community. Besides, how could anyone respect us if we don't even respect ourselves? So we have to start with respecting ourselves. We need to close the community borders and deport these bad actors out of the community and make the car community great again. Brother, I don't care anymore. If it offends people, it offends people. I think I'm based personally, so I'm just gonna say it. Look, I'm not alone in this decision because a lot of people, especially the organizations and the major organizations that are hosting these big shows and big meets who rely on it as forms of income, forms of employment, and again, sustaining the hobby, keeping this hobby alive, keeping the culture alive, they've decided, nah, we're gonna start cracking down on a lot of these attendees and applications and events and try to return to the good old days. Because you know why? It just works. I'm gonna be completely honest and finish this video off by saying I have nothing but appreciation to all of you watching, and I still love all of you, and I especially deeply respect the car community and their treatment towards me and bringing me up in the first place over the past 8 years. I still really respect a lot of the people who are deeply rooted in Atlanta car culture for showing me all the stuff. I'm not posting less cars because of you guys or because I don't like cars. I still love cars. It's just about my sanity, bro. Look, I hate that I have to be so negative about cars lately because the community is just spiraling. Not by my fault, not by your guys' fault. If you're a good actor, that is. If you're a bad actor, leave our community, please, at the soonest possible time. Go watch football. Anyways, whether it's EVs slowly replacing gas engines, clout chasers ruining car meets, tracks closing down, and lawmakers cracking down on us, I hate looking at car news now because it's just negative. That or it's about a brand new SUV that I don't give a rat's rear end to talk about. Don't get me wrong, cool things still happen. Like I'll talk about the new C801 or the Yangwang U9. Check out that video if you haven't already. Those are great videos. I'll still cover the cool things, kind of like how Moist Critical used to primarily be a gaming channel, but now he just kind of talks about whatever, but he will still talk about games if it's a really good game that he enjoys and likes. I'm gonna do the same with cars. If I really like a certain bit of car news, I'll still talk about it, but I want to get get to a point where like I can make more variety content just for my own sanity. But shout out to everyone who does watch my variety content, because I genuinely do enjoy making those videos. They are a breath of fresh air. I have a ton of fun making them, and seeing people enjoy them does make me realize that it's a very viable avenue. Anyways, subscribe for more weekly situations updates, like this video, and share this to your local broccoli-haired weirdo with a busted hatchback who definitely needs to hear this so that they can leave the community at their earliest convenience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bladed Angel out.